In today's news, BVI Health Services Authority urgently needs COVID-19 response medical staff. Qualified clinicians are asked to apply as soon as possible.
And the BVI demoted to the UK's amber watch list for travel as unvaccinated arrivals must now quarantine for 10 days and take 2 COVID-19 tests.
BVI COVID cases stand at 1,559 active cases.
And the United Kingdom to provide the BVI with all needed vaccines, with 15,000 rapid test kits to be received today, while 10,000 PCR tests to be followed.
All travelers from the BVI and USVI must submit a negative PCR test within 48 hours of traveling. We have the details of these and so much more after word from our sponsors. You're watching 284 News.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Well, welcome everyone. It's Thursday, July 15, 2021. I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant. A happy Thursday to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we get into our newscast, just a quick update. We are now at 1,559 active COVID cases in the British Virgin Islands, with 31 hospitalizations in the VI, as well as 6 COVID-19 related deaths have been reported as of press time. Now, as the territory of the Virgin Islands continues to grapple with the COVID-19 pandemic, the BVI's very own Dr. Stephanie Vanterpool has a message for her beloved BVI. Take a look.
People of the British Virgin Islands, this is Dr. Stephanie Vanterpool. I have a serious question for you. If you knew there was a band of criminals running around the island, destroying homes, just ransacking them, breaking them and burning them to the ground, and you had the opportunity to obtain a state-of-the-art security system and security guards for free, would you do it? Would you do it to protect your home? That home that you built and lived in and have all these memories in? Well, that's what's happening in the British Virgin Islands right now with COVID-19. This virus is destroying people's lives, families, killing our loved ones. We have the opportunity to get a state-of-the-art security system in the form of the COVID-19 vaccine that is free, on island, available for us all. Please protect your house. Go out there and get that shot as soon as possible. Our families and our island depends on this. Take care.
That was Dr. Stephanie Vanterpool herself. In addition to that, we're looking at the COI matters. Government was overambitious in its stimulus distribution, says the financial secretary, and 4-year gap to form audit advisory committee raises questions. In a press conference held today, July 15, 2021, Governor of the USVI, Albert O'Brien, announced that effective Monday, July 19, 2021, anyone traveling from the British Virgin Islands to the USVI will have to submit a negative PCR test within 48 hours of traveling. Now, the present ferry load remains the same. The governor pledged his support to the BVI and said he is actively in communications with BVI leaders as well as the CDC experts, FEMA, and others to see what could be done to assist the British Virgin Islands. Now, beginning on a local scene, in a dire plea, the BVI Health Services Authority is urgently inviting trained and experienced healthcare workers as well as retired clinicians to join its COVID-19 clinical lockdown bank. Now, the initiative is aimed at quickly acquiring critically needed medical human resources to better respond to the current COVID-19 pandemic. The recent outsurge of COVID-19 cases in the territory has also affected the staff complement of the Health Services Authority, leaving the organization, which is the leading medical service provider in the BVI, to operate under additional strain. Now, this unfavorable situation has resulted in significant hardship for the employees of the BVI Health Services Authority, who have been working under enormous pressure since the pandemic began in March of 2020. In response to the immediate strain on a already pressured and overworked staff, this is reduced in numbers. Acting CEO Cordine P. Malone Smith requested that a COVID-19 clinical lockroom bank be established immediately. Now, this formation is aimed at sustaining the BVI Health Services Authority's ability to continue to respond effectively to the current COVID-19 outbreak. Now, while commenting on the urgent need for the COVID-19 situation, Mrs. Malone Smith said, and I quote, "As an organization, we are constantly being tested, and this is unfortunate. A public health crisis is yet another hurdle we must overcome. Nonetheless, we remain committed to our motto that only excellence counts, even as we work through the significant challenges this situation has caused. Now, this bank is critical right now, not only to provide urgently needed staff support, but to ensure that the BVI community receives the best medical care possible. Now, the bank is open to all trained, qualified, and registered healthcare workers in the territory. This also includes senior and retired clinicians. The role will be as an ad-needed basis, and of course, will be compensation. Since COVID-19 is a fluid situation, a definite duration of the time frame that staff will be needed is difficult to state at this time. Now, viewers, additionally, the BVI Health Services Authority is seeking external support to augment its current response capacity. Interested persons, of course, are asked to email the BVI Health Services Authority at tpen@bvihealthservices.vg. That's tpen@BVIHSA, VG, to request a registration form.
Now to news on the international scene involving the territory of the British Virgin Islands will be demoted from the United Kingdom's Green Watch list for travel to their Amber list from Monday, July 19th. But this new development stems from the recent spike in active COVID-19 cases in the BVI, which up until Thursday, July 15, stood at 1,559 active cases. For persons traveling from the countries on the Amber list into the United Kingdom must follow specific travel protocols when entering that country, with the protocols exempt fully vaccinated persons and children under 18 who have not been in a red list country in the 10-day period prior to arriving in England, from having to quarantine on arrival, and from having to take a day 8 COVID-19 test. However, vaccinated persons will still be required to book a day 2 COVID-19 test after arriving in the UK. While in contrast, persons who are not fully vaccinated now have to quarantine on arrival in the UK and must take both the day 2 and day 8 COVID-19 tests. But therefore, prior to arrival, unvaccinated travelers must now take a COVID-19 test, book and pay for day 2 and day 8 COVID-19 travel tests, which must be taken after arrival in England, and complete a passenger travel locator form. But once arriving in England, unvaccinated persons must quarantine at a place of residence or a hotel for 10 days and take a COVID-19 test on or before day 2 and on or after day 8. But the BVI was added to the UK's Green Watch list for travel less than a month ago. But as the territory continues to register high numbers of COVID-19 cases, it is likely that a number of other countries and territories will also be imposing heightened travel protocols for persons arriving from the BVI.
Viewers, still ahead, the UK is providing some much-needed assistance to the British Virgin Islands in the form of vaccines, rapid tests, and PCR tests. We have the details of that and so much more after a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
While the United Kingdom government has given assurance to the British Virgin Islands that it will be providing an unlimited quantity of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine once needed to help the territory succeed in their battle against the deadly virus. But this is according to Governor John Rankin, who made a disclosure during a statement on Wednesday, July 14th, when he said that in addition to the procuring of unlimited vaccines to the territory, the UK will also be providing 10,000 PCR test kits and 15,000 rapid test kits, with the latter set to arrive today in the BVI. Listen in.
I'm grateful that the UK continues to support us here in the BVI. The UK government has confirmed that it will provide all the vaccines we need to ensure that all adults can have access to 2 doses. And the UK is also sending 10,000 PCR tests, and tomorrow we expect 15,000 lateral flow tests to arrive. As Governor, I and my office will continue to work with and support Premier, the Health Minister, and the Acting Chief Medical Officer and his team with all of their efforts. Please do your part. I urge each and every one of you, for all of our health, if you are able to please take the vaccine.
Well, Governor Rankin also outlined a few key statistics of the AstraZeneca version of the vaccine as he implored residents to get vaccinated.
The World Health Organization and Public Health England all recommend that we get the COVID-19 vaccine as a strong layer of protection against this terrible virus. Here in the BVI, we have the approved Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. This vaccine, after 2 doses, is 92% effective against hospitalization. It considerably reduces the risk of getting COVID-19. And it means there is much less chance you will be hospitalized, and it is proven to be almost 100% effective against severe illness. And if a fully vaccinated person does catch COVID, they transmit much less virus to others. So along with the other essential protocols of wearing masks, washing hands, remaining 6 feet apart, this means that when enough people are vaccinated, we will see a significant reduction in COVID transmission here in the BVI. Indeed, you are already seeing, and you will see, that it is those countries across the world which have now achieved a high proportion of vaccinated residents who are now starting to reopen.
Well, Governor Rankin also thanked the local healthcare professionals for all the work they have been doing in the ongoing fight against this COVID-19 pandemic. But he further sent his condolences to the families who have lost loved ones and to the COVID-19 virus, and well wishes to all who have been impacted and are presently recovering from the virus. Around, we see here the territory, as the situation would have worsened in the territory.
Yes.
We went from weeks ago of being unsure about where vaccines will be coming to now having, a guarantee from the UK that they will be providing what type of vaccines are needed for the BVI.
I think it is great news, and we, of course, are thankful for their assistance. Speaking of the Governor, viewers, Governor of the Virgin Islands, His Excellency John Rankin, just announced recently his decision to extend the ongoing Commission of Inquiry for another 6 months, in spite of calls to discontinue until the current COVID-19 surge is brought under control. The COI, which was launched by a former Governor, Augustus J.U. Jaspert, to investigate possible corruption, abuse of office, and other serious dishonesty in recent years, was projected to conclude by July 19th. However, Commissioner Sir Gary Hickenbottom, within his June 2nd statement, said the time allotted is insufficient and further requested an extension. Governor Rankin noted that the current COVID-19 climate also aided in his decision-making. He said, and I quote, "The current COVID-19 outbreak, the curfew order, and the encouragement to stay at home makes us all in our current ways of working difficult. It is important that the Commission can continue to operate safely within the COVID-19 guidelines, even if that means that in-person hearings may not always be possible. Now, therefore, I have today informed the Premier and members of Cabinet that in discussion with the Commissioner, Sir Gary Hickenbottom, I have granted a 6-month extension to the COI. Now, Kamal, as the COI continues, many residents have openly called for the process to be halted, considering the recent upsurge and need for officials to focus primarily on slowing down the COVID-19 curve. Now, on January 27th, 2021, members of Parliament within the UK openly call for a COI to be launched to examine the Boris Johnson administration and its approach to COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Johnson rejected the notion and requested that the COI be postponed considering the COVID-19 challenges. However, just 9 days prior, it was revealed that Boris approved the launch of the COI in the British Virgin Islands despite similar COVID-19 constraints being experienced in our part of the territory. Social commentator and activist Mr. Claude Skelton-Klein, within a recent 284 Media interview, said the BVI should pull out of the COI temporarily on the same premise that the UK was also allowed to do earlier this year.
Well, up next, Sir Richardon Branson returns home from airspace mission and is welcomed by officials. All this and much more after a word from our sponsors.
Father Jesus, that line along like church service.
Alright, you enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come. Yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? Listen, you want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Viewers, welcome back. Thanks so much for sticking with us. Yesterday, July 14th, Sir Richardon Branson returned home from his airspace mission. Him, along with about 5 others, embarked on a very historic mission on their first commercial trip to space. Branson was met and welcomed by officials who congratulated him on this amazing milestone. Now, our reporter, Jovan Wilson, was on the ground. Take a look.
There he is, viewers. There he is. A huge congratulations to Mr. Branson. Hello. All right, viewers, we're going to hop right in and just try. We're going to just go ahead.
Sorry, we kept you waiting. How was that, sir? Did you see it? Welcome back to work. You're going to go to space one day? You are.
Woo! All right, Mr. Branson, making history in the Virgin Islands, but also across the world. Big moment, 50 miles above the earth. Just walk us through where this idea was birthed and the journey that led to such an incredible milestone.
Well, I was, come forward these two. I was these two kids' age once. Do you ever look up to the moon? No, yeah, and the stars. And I looked up and dreamt one day of going up into space myself. And took many years, but in the end, we decided to build a spaceship and see if we could actually go into space ourselves. And 2 days ago, we took off, and what happened was we were attached to a mothership, a big airplane. And then we got up to about the same height that a normal airplane goes. And then they dropped our spaceship. And then we fired the rocket. And we went from 0 to 3,500 miles an hour in about 8 seconds. And your body gets pressed right back against the seat. And you have the ride of a lifetime. And then you end up in space. Oops, sorry, I just got these masks on. Yes. This is more difficult than actually being in space. You end up in space, and you go from this enormous roaring sound of the rocket to absolute silence. And this is the magic bit that you would all find completely magical. You just unbuckle your seatbelt and you fly. Wow. No. And it's just like Peter Pan. Do you know Peter Pan? Yeah. Yep. It's just like Peter Pan. It's something I've always dreamt about, as being Peter Pan one day. And so you then fly in space, and it's the most incredible feeling ever. And then after having this incredible experience of looking back at the British Virgin Islands from space and seeing how beautiful, the most beautiful place in the whole of the world, I mean, just is where we all live. We're so lucky. You look back at the British Virgin Islands, you see this pristine blue water around it, these beautiful islands, and then you decide, actually, the Earth is pretty good. Let's come back to the Earth, and let's come back to the British Virgin Islands. And so we get back in our seats, and now we're in space, and we have to buckle in and get all ready for the ride back into the Earth's atmosphere. And as you're coming back in, you get tossed around both sides until you get back into the Earth's atmosphere, and then in the end you glide back down to Earth and you say, please.
Incredible. Now, I know you mentioned going up to space and being pressed back against your seat. Was there any point you thought this has to be a bad idea?
Well, building spaceships is difficult. Building rockets is difficult. And it's taken 17 years, and there have been times when we've had difficult moments. You always do in life when you're doing something that hasn't been done before, and then you have wonderful moments like we did 2 or 3 days ago. The good moments generally outweigh the bad moments, and it was one of those sort of flawless days where everything went right. I mean, it was just we were just so fortunate, and now it's up to us to build lots of spaceships so that we can have lots of BVI Islanders going to space one day. Who wants to go to space? There we go. I know, I'm sure Gumption does.
So Richard, you have quite a number of adults around you, but throughout this interview you turned your attention to the younger ones. Why is it so important to address them on reaching for your dreams?
Well, I think, look, it's when I was their age, I was able to look up and know that 2 people were standing on the moon, and that inspired me to do what we've just done. And I want these people to be able to look forward to the possibility of going to, doing extraordinary things themselves. And we want everybody in the BVI to look forward to doing extraordinary things, not necessarily building spaceships, but there's so many different things that young people can do today. We have the most wonderful islands, the most wonderful group of people. I know that right now it's a worrying time in the BVI, and I just hope and pray that anybody who hasn't been vaccinated gets vaccinated, because you can just see the terrible danger the BVI is in. If I can use my voice in any way for the BVI, is just to say, don't believe all you read. It's all rubbish. All the negatives about getting vaccinated. Get vaccinated, and then the BVI can be safe, and we can get back to normality again soon. I mean, it's horrible to have to wear these masks again. But anyway, I'm sure BVI Islanders are going to get through these difficult days, and let's hope there aren't too many casualties.
Okay. For me, I leave you now to enjoy the rest of your welcome and return.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask one additional question, Mr. Branson.
Yeah.
Right after leaving the flight, you mentioned the foundation that you're working with to now give persons access to space, where you could actually essentially pay $10 to be able to win an opportunity to do so. Why was that so important to you?
I think that that people who would, people would never ever have the opportunity to do something exceptional in their lives, and obviously going to space is not cheap. If we can actually get many people to be able to have the opportunity to go to space as a result of this $10 lottery. Then I mean, even people like this, they could, if their parents wanted to take a lottery ticket for them when they were 18, they might have a chance to go to space. So, and then all the money that is raised will then put more and more and more people into space. So, it's a dream to.
That was the one and only Sir Richard Branson. Now, viewers, on Sunday, Branson will also be celebrating his birthday. A happy and healthy birthday is wished to him when it comes.
Well, viewers, now to news involving the opposition leader Marlon Penn. Marlon Penn is urging business owners to change their approach towards unvaccinated workers following the recent trend of businesses mandating unvaccinated workers to get vaccinated or face termination. But the plea was made in a recent statement issued by the opposition legislator, where he said a different approach is needed that will benefit both the employer and employee.
Fellow Virgin Islanders, friends and family, one of the unintended consequences of the current COVID outbreak is a clash between business expectations and the burden placed on unvaccinated workers. We need not be totally divided on this issue, because in all of this, we all desire the same outcome: the preservation of lives and livelihoods. To the employer with unvaccinated staff, we ask you to change the conversation and help your staff navigate through difficult issues that are preventing them from vaccinating. Bring in a medical professional to provide information or counseling sessions, direct them to official sources of information, and share stories such as, of the 13 persons in the ICU, only one has been released so far, and he or she is vaccinated. Compare your staff to that of your customers. Just as you would not turn away a valuable but unvaccinated customer, do not turn away a valuable employee.
Penn also urged for the government and other reputable public figures and experts in the territory to get involved with the topic and help bring a solution to this existing issue.
I urge our government, business leaders, community leaders, legal experts, and organizations with credibility on medical and crisis issues to let us be part of the solution and not part of the problem. There's much at stake in this situation. Inasmuch as a business cannot function without employees, employees cannot maintain their livelihoods nor contribute to our local economy without jobs. So too, a community cannot function with its citizens living in fear. Our mutual objectives, our economic and health successes, could only be achieved with balance. The psalmist says in Psalms 27, verse 11, "Lord, teach us your ways, and guide us to do what is right." Fellow Virgin Islanders, friends, and family, I urge you, let us seek God's guidance and do what is right. We have to win this fight. We can win this fight. We will win this fight. We simply must do what is right. And with God's help, we will. I thank you for listening and continue to pray for God's continued blessings over these beautiful Virgin Islands.
The proceeding was a national address to the territory by the leader of the opposition.
Well, Marlon Penn is one of the first members of the opposition team to openly speak on this topical issue. A Walmart supermarket and LJD VI block, which is located in Bogus Bay, Tortola, are among some of the businesses which recently made news headlines for their policy to have unvaccinated workers inoculated or face termination. Ron, you see here, we would have mentioned that, I believe, earlier this week, where we were saying that there were a lack of persons coming forward to speak on this imminent issue, where you have employers working for your organization within 10 to 15 years, and yet they're being faced, within the pandemic, they have other crises going on, but yet a major crisis of losing that sole income for their household.
Well, I'm happy to see the Honorable Leader of the Opposition weighing in on the matter. I think it's of important matter, and one that we should be looking at. And I, to be honest with you, I prefer his approach. He's not necessarily taking a side. He's just asking for the employers to just reconsider their approach. One of the things that I think we have to be wary of and be very careful of is the forcing of a hand for anything necessarily in the territory. Many persons have taken to social media and have weighed in on this issue. So we're going to continue to wish both employers and employees the very best as we seek to come to a middle ground. When you look at it, you could truly understand where many of the employers are coming from in wanting to make sure that their companies are safe and secure. So we're going to continue viewers to follow this matter.
And I totally agree with you as well, because even in his message, even though he was telling employers to take a different approach, he was also encouraging them to use the approach of basically educating their employees, so that they could be informed, they could make more informed decisions, and then they could obviously come to their conclusion to make a decision which will benefit everyone.
Correct.
So I totally agree on that basis.
Yes.
Well, that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook and 284media and on Instagram and Twitter or at 284BVI. I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant. Do have a beautiful rest of the day. A happy Thursday once again is wished to each and every one of you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.